welcome everybody to the very first episode of the Ring Fanatics Podcast. I almost said the wrong name there, but my name is Nick Arias, but I'm the host of your show. And with me is my co-host Joel Otero. How you been, bro? How you
What's
been?
good? I'm chilling, man. How you been doing?
Doing good. Pretty boring quarantine life, but the wrestling is the only thing keeping me alive right now with watching it. Everything's going on.
I feel you on that, bro.
Yeah. So I was gonna say it's glad to be back, which I am, but this is a new podcast now, the Ring Fanatics. If you all don't know, Joel and I did a podcast. We started that 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago we started that.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
felt like it
two
was
years
yesterday.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
facts. That's a fact. Wow, I didn't even notice it was that long ago.
I know, right? We kind of ended it last year, so I didn't really feel like it was that long, but we started it 2 years ago. But yeah, pretty much this show, the Ring Fanatics, is pretty much the same thing as the ring side. We're gonna talk about wrestling, pretty much breaking news, predictions, results. Just pretty much our thoughts into the world of wrestling, whether it's WWE, AEW, Impact. And there's not much wrestling going on right now, from what I can recall. Um, just whatever's going on right now during the pandemic. Gonna talk about it. So yeah, to kind of get the ball rolling, when I start off with you, Joel, if you don't mind. How did you kind of start off with watching wrestling? What was your kind of like introduction to that?
To be honest, I don't really have like a first memory of wrestling. I've just always been watching it. Like it's kind of weird like that. I believe like one of my first memories is WrestleMania 2000. But like my family has videotapes of me just chilling, watching wrestling, just playing with the toys. Like there's a video of me watching Survivor Series '99, and I'm just like hanging out. But like I don't remember that because I was so
Yeah,
young. But yeah, I've just been watching it since day one, I feel, and I've never stopped. It's just
I feel
been my thing.
I feel like a lot of people start off at a young age. I don't know why, but like I feel like a lot of people do that kind of.
Yeah, and now that I look back at it, I'm like, I was like 3, 4, and like you look back at the Attitude Era. I asked my parents, I'm like, "Yeah,
You
really
let me
let me
watch, yeah,
watch this stuff?"
yeah, for real. Uh,
Because
and
stuff
now,
used to be
yeah,
reckless.
yeah, it was like not even. And now it's the PG era. I guess you could
Yeah.
say, but it wasn't really the same back then. So it was like I didn't really start watching it till like I guess 2008. So not that long as you have.
Okay.
So it was
That's
pretty
enough.
much, yeah. So I remember the SmackDown versus Raw video games.
Yes.
That's how I basically got introduced to wrestling. Um,
Okay,
I
so you
start
just play the games
yeah,
first. Gotcha,
yes,
gotcha,
because
gotcha.
like one thing I don't like about the games, even now, like how they do like the last video game that came out was SmackDown 2K20, which came out in 2019. You know how they do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So like when I got it in 2007, thinking that it came out that year. So like I pretty much played that for a couple of months. Then I pretty much in 2008 I got SmackDown versus Raw 2008. Um, I started playing that too for a little bit, and at that time I was kind of like hesitant about it. Like I didn't know because it's not like a typical like television show or Netflix show, which is like a couple of seasons with a few episodes.
Yeah.
It's literally years and years of
Yeah.
history on that. So it's like it was hard to like start up on where to start and where to like who to catch up on.
Yeah,
But
I've never thought about that. Like,
yeah,
how do you just jump into it? Because like I
exactly.
never had that problem, so it's weird to like think about it like that you actually have to jump in and like actually learn who everybody is because they don't really introduce everybody every episode. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
just
yeah,
show up, and it's like,
yeah,
oh, Jeff Hardy, and last week he did this and that, and it's like I don't know what's going on, but I don't know.
yeah.
It's weird to think about it like that.
The video games kind of helped me out with that because like even when I started playing the games, I still didn't watch it. I just played the video games, so I
Yeah.
just knew who everyone was through that. And then um, from from there on out, I was like, okay, I know who these guys are, but I just didn't know where to start, like through the storyline aspect of it.
Yeah.
So I know, I just thought like after every like pay per view, it would start kind of refresh a little bit, but it was still kind of hard. So like, who is this guy? Who's this guy? Why do they have beef right now? I don't know what that the part was, but like, um, So like, yeah, the video game's trying to help me, but then I'm like, for a while, I was like, all right, how do I start? Like, how do I find out more information about this? And then I remember SummerSlam that year was like the next pay per view after I started watching. It was that pay per view where John Cena. Remember John Cena got injured because of the Batista bomb, and he injured his neck, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that one, and then I remember like I knew well enough where I was like, okay, John Cena's a big like person in the company right now, and
That's
that's
the
a big
guy.
deal. Yeah, yeah, and that was like a big deal that he was out. So I was like, oh shoot, like that's pretty dope. Not dope, but like that's kind of like not good in a way.
Yeah.
And then I remember like I saw it because I didn't buy the pay per view. I didn't actually see it in person or and through pay per view. I saw the highlights the next day on YouTube.
Okay. Okay.
That's how like remember that's how people watch it, like the
Yeah.
highlights on YouTube.
Yep.
And then I watched it on YouTube, and then what really like caught my like attention and wanted me to commit to it was like remember that main event? It was I think it was Undertaker versus Edge. I think it was for a title. I'm not sure if it was for a title.
Was that the um that wasn't the ladder match, right?
It
I'm
was the
trying to
Hell in a
think.
Cell.
Yes,
It
the
was
Hell in the
Hell in a
Cell.
yeah.
It was
Then I was
it was yeah.
I was gonna say like the
I know
ending
exactly what match you're
was
talking about.
he threw Edge to the Undertaker threw Edge to the ring.
Yeah.
And from there I was like, yo, he just threw him to the ring. I was like, then fire just comes up out of nowhere.
That
And then
caught
I'm like,
your
yo,
attention.
yeah, I
That
was
caught
like,
your
yo,
attention.
that's sick. And then from there on out, I've been watching it. Um, and then yeah, and then I got to like basically learn the history, like who everyone is, who's the greatest of all time. Which I want to talk about later too. But like you said, Survivor Series was your very first show that you remember, like not remember watching, but you saw,
Yeah,
or
like
what was
that.
like
They have video of me.
a
Like
video? Yeah,
my first show that I remember is WrestleMania 16, and I only
that was the
remember
same
it.
year.
What's up?
That was the same year, or like multiple
No, that
years
was
later.
in 2000. That was April 2000. Survivor Series
Okay,
was November 99.
okay, okay,
So 2000 was the. I remember it was the Fatal Four Way with a McMahon in every corner. It was the very first like uh triple threat ladder match for the tag titles. It was a dope show, I think. Personally, it's not like up there in WrestleManias, of course, because
that was like the start of something like that people remember going back to,
yeah,
and yeah. What was like because you've been to a lot of shows too, like actually in person. What was like your
yeah.
what was your like first show you remember going to
My
and seeing?
first show was just a random house show in MSG,
Was it a
and
WWE show or an
yeah,
independent?
yeah. Well, it
Oh,
was a WWF show,
oh, okay.
and this was in I want to say it was 2000. And like now that I think about it, the card was stacked. Like the main event was Stone Cold and The Rock versus Taker and Kane. Then you
Okay.
had the Hardys and Edge and Christian fighting each other. And it was already when Taker was the American Badass.
Okay.
So so it had to be late 2000.
Okay.
But
Um,
yeah, that was like my
what
first show.
what was like your favorite show like of all time? Would you say is that?
That that I went to?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That you've been to,
Oh
you've seen in person. It could be any show, not
man,
WWE.
that's tough. Wait, what was your first show? While I think of that, what
Okay.
was your first show?
My first show that I went to, well, now I'm gonna start off with the first show that I saw on pay per view
Yeah,
was um, no, it was No Way Out. Was that the old Elimination Chamber name? No Way Out.
yeah, and
Yeah. So I
yeah,
saw that. I saw No Way Out of 2009. That was when Edge lost the World Championship, and then he attacked Kofi Kingston to enter the WWE champ. No, vice versa. It was he lost the WWE Championship, then attacked Kofi Kingston to go into the World Heavyweight Championship.
yeah,
I like that's what sticks out to me every single time I see it because I remember I was like, yo, he legit just attacked Kofi because Kofi was one of my favorites at that
Yo,
time when I
Kofi was the
started.
man.
Yeah, like that was his Jamaican character was dope. Like I always liked that his enthusiasm and stuff like that. Then the pyro works every time he did the
Yeah,
boom. That was dope. I was like, that's what he was my favorite superstar. I was like, oh damn, he legit got injured or injured in their
yeah,
terms because it was a storyline. And then I was like, that was a creative way to enter him, the Edge into the world title picture. It was like he was still a champion, entered the champion, and still left as champion, even though it was a different match. Then the first show I went to in person, it's actually the only show I went to in person. I had a whole like plan of going this year before the pandemic hit, but the first and only show I went to in person was actually a live event too. It was a Road to WrestleMania event for
Okay.
WrestleMania 27, where The Rock hosted it. I remember buying a
Okay.
shirt. You know the Team Bring It shirts that they had.
Yeah.
I bought one of those. I don't know if I still have it, but I bought it there. And then I remember, I don't. He wasn't there. I think he was there. I'm not sure, but I remember it was an MSG too. So um, I remember R-Truth coming out, The Miz competing, and remember it was so much louder the booing in person because
Yeah.
the Miz like was the most hated person. He was WWE champion, and everyone hated him. So it was like a loud eruption of boos in the ring, and MSG too, because it wasn't that big the way they did this live event show. I don't know why, even though it was an MSG.
Like the
They
setup.
made
Yeah.
the setup, yeah. So it was like all crowded. Everyone was close to the ring than like an actual episode of Raw or SmackDown. So it's kind of like everyone was crammed in together. I was like, damn. So I think that's like I had like every single corner people booing. I'm like, damn, that was pretty loud. What was your like, favorite show? Favorite?
My favorite show might have had to be one of the manias I've been to. It has to be a tie. Like even though the card wasn't like out there, I would have to say 29 or
That was
32.
The first New Jersey one. That was
Yeah, first New Jersey. Either 29 and 32 would have to be one of my favorite shows. 32 is just people want to trash on that WrestleMania. That WrestleMania was actually pretty underrated. Like you had the IC title. Was it
that
for
was
the IC
Dallas.
title?
That was Dallas, or
Yeah, Dallas. Yeah,
okay.
that they had the ladder match to kick off the show that Ryder won. They had
Oh
AJ
yeah,
versus Jericho, Taker versus Shane. Um, what else was
yeah.
on that card? That card was actually like a lot of people like to trash on that Mania, but that Mania was actually dope. It was
That was
just that it was just the ending everybody didn't like when it was Triple
Brock
H
beat Roman.
versus now it was
Oh, that was triple. Yeah, okay. Oh,
Triple
yeah.
H and Roman, which it is what it is.
That was the year when they made the WWE Championship in the Rumble, right? And then Triple H won
Yeah,
it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And
My favorite.
In Dallas they announced the women's title like before the show even started. They announced, all right, whoever
Yeah,
wins this is getting the women's title.
that was the triple threat with Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Bailey or Sasha.
Yeah,
Was it a fatal four
Sasha.
way or triple?
No, it was three. It was
Oh,
Sasha. It was Sasha, Becky, Charlotte. Bailey was still in NXT.
imagine that match now though, like how they're all built up already.
Yeah,
That match now will get a lot of attention, a
yeah, it
lot of
would.
side
Yeah, it
play.
would.
You went to the one in Orlando, 33, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
would
did.
I like that one too. That one was pretty dope. Like that
That one. Wow. Yeah, that one was
because
incredible.
then the only thing I didn't like was the fact that they had what would have been a 10, like for sure a 10 and a 10 was remember they had Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal title?
Yeah,
It was supposed to be Jericho and Kevin Owens for that Universal Championship instead of the United States. But then they switched it off because of Brock. Um, that really missed it really got me tight at that time. I was like really that the Jericho and Kevin Owens storyline was like the best thing going on
yeah.
at that time with the list and them being friends. But they really changed that up for Brock winning against Goldberg. That
And,
really,
but that match wasn't even that bad. The Brock versus Goldberg. Like they
yeah,
actually like it was actually like back and forth a little bit. Like as much as they can do. And then the Hardys returned that show.
yeah. That
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 was
really
that was
how
one of the biggest reactions I've ever been a part of. Like,
yeah. I was gonna ask like how big was it in person than it was on the network?
man, that place went insane. I don't even remember the match because I was just already just so hyped up that the Hardys were back. Like
Yeah,
I have to go back and rewatch that match because like of course the Hardys won. Of course
yeah,
Jeff did the big drop off the ladder. Other than that, I don't remember it because I was so hyped up. It was one of those moments that were like surreal. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
they had lost the titles the night before at the Ring of Honor show,
Oh yeah.
which
Well,
I still haven't watched that match. By the
either.
way, I heard that yeah, it was them versus the Bucks in a ladder match. I
Oh,
heard
oh
that match
yeah,
was
yeah.
insane. I still haven't watched it though.
What other live event that you remember had a big pop reaction to it that you had in person?
Big pop reaction. Um, I went to I went to a SmackDown live show in 2003, and the main event was Brock Lesnar versus Big Show. That's when they were doing their whole um they had that whole rivalry going that Paul Heyman switched sides. He went to join Big Show and he was helping him out and stuff. And they had a cage match and they broke the cage.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
And
remember.
the place went insane. It was like around the same time that they broke the ring and they were doing all that stuff and they broke the
Mm.
cage and like that. That was like the first big reaction that I've heard that because people didn't know like if it was supposed to happen because Brock he just threw Brock into the cage and just fell. Like I don't remember. I don't know if you remember that happened
Remember
with
the ring,
yeah the ring. It also
Lashley and Umaga
yes
didn't
yeah
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah it
Lashley
was the
just
same.
threw himself.
Yeah, it was the same spot, but Big Show threw Brock, and then Brock went through, and then he touched the floor first, so he won the match. But that was like one of the first ones that was like a big pop that I heard in person, and I was like, what, maybe like 6, 7. So
Damn.
it was probably louder than, like it
Yeah.
probably wasn't as loud, but I'm
Yeah.
short, I'm smaller. I'm like, yo, this place is going crazy.
Yeah. I mean, nothing could beat a WrestleMania like reaction. I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like yo, you definitely have to do it. You definitely have to do it. Like I also did 35 that I
Yeah.
had.
Last year.
Yeah, I had the school pay for it.
Ah, that's cool, man. That was you might basically went for free, man. That's it.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to a takeover. A takeover is something I wanted to go to because I heard those are pretty dope too, right? Like those are pretty like
Takeovers are
big.
crazy.
Yeah.
I went to most of the Brooklyn ones. I think I went to all 4 of them except for the New York one.
Last year,
Yeah.
25, I think it was.
I didn't go no, I didn't go to the one before Mania,
Okay.
which
Okay.
was because okay, listen to this. So the first takeover I went to was the first takeover Brooklyn. I paid $50, maybe. I think it was 40, maybe, and I was like 3 rows from the top. I didn't mind. That was also the card was insane. That was the Balor versus Owens in the ladder match, Sasha and Bailey when they had their incredible match. So you paid $40. You were 2 rows from the top. Each one that I went to, I started moving down slowly. So also another big reaction that I was there for was the Adam Cole debut.
Oh,
That
that was
that that was insane. That
yeah,
happened
man.
in Brooklyn.
Damn. I always think about like when I see it and I get those reactions, I'm like, damn, I want to go to them. But especially like it's kind of weird now with no audience and
Yeah.
the crowd's like not even there, so
It's,
like you don't get no reaction to any of these big moments.
yeah, I feel
Y-
like that
Yeah,
messes it up a lot. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
nobody gets the reaction that the like. I feel sometimes it looks awkward.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say
Like
too. It's kind of awkward for
yeah.
these moments. Like especially like I feel like one thing I saw, I forgot who said it, but like the Drew McIntyre being WWE champion and winning at WrestleMania, I feel like that would have gotten a big pop to it
Oh
too.
hell yeah, hell
Like,
yeah. What time out? How did you feel about him? Like how did you feel about WrestleMania in general?
this year,
Yeah.
I it wasn't a bad show, especially for a non-audience show. It was definitely like it was definitely pretty good. I liked it. I mean, I liked
Okay.
it. It wasn't that bad to me. It was especially the cinematic matches. Those pretty much kept it
Oh
going for me.
yeah.
Um, uh, I mean, it's different in a way. I'm not saying that's the reason why it was good, but like it was definitely something they could have done and what they did do, and definitely worth the hype of WrestleMania to me.
Yeah.
It still felt like WrestleMania to me, especially when it was 2 nights, the 2 night event.
I don't know how I
I,
feel about the 2 nights. I hope they don't keep that as a trend. I hope
I mean,
that's
New Japan does it with their
well,
Wrestle
well,
Kingdom.
yeah. This year was the first year they started doing it.
Oh, they did. Oh, they
Yeah,
always did that.
nah, this was the first year. They usually have it one night, like, cause for a while, I would wake up like at 3 o'clock, wait for ring time, like at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and just watch it all night and just chill. And then usually the show would end around like 8 a.m. But now that they did the 2 nights, it's like that's too much for me. Like I
Oh,
could
okay,
do
yeah,
it
that makes
one
sense.
night. It was too much for me. So this year I was just like, I watched the highlights, because then they split it up, because they don't want everybody just to watch one night. You know what I mean? They got to
Yeah,
put
yeah.
title matches on both shows. Same way that Mania did it. You got to put matches on both shows that people are actually going to enjoy. One match that I really enjoyed at Mania was the ladder match for the tag belts. I felt they did a lot with that. It was um it was one of the Usos,
Oh yeah,
Morrison.
and Biggie.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that. Like, I think the Miz got sick or something, so they had to make it like one person from each team. I like how they did that. I like how they executed that.
which cinematic match did you like the best? The Fiend versus John Cena or the Boneyard match with
I'm bi-
AJ Styles and Tucker?
I'm biased. I love Styles, and Taker's my guy, so it
Yeah,
has to be
yeah,
Boyard. But I did like the way they did the Funhouse match. I
yeah.
like that. Like,
They
it
brought
was
back like old like
different.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people were like iffy on it. I knew once he announced it, I was like, this is gonna be dope. I like how they showed like his history. They had Bray cut the promo that Kurt Angle cut. They had him come out with his gear on. What else they had? They had him do the NWO, like if he would have turned heel. Like, it
yeah,
was just little like stuff like that that was like interesting, and it was like, like they really thought this out.
yeah. Like
Uh,
the way they ended it too. Like I didn't think there was a winner because he didn't pin. There
yeah,
was no pinning. There was no tapping or anything. He just like did it. Like I think the sister Abigail. Then he just won. I'm
yeah,
like, okay, that
like
was it. I was like, that was
not
it.
because he hit the Sister Abigail and then pinned him, but Bray counted. Like, I think
Oh,
he
okay,
hit it with
okay.
the Fiend, and then Bray, like in the sweater vest, counted the 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I didn't
So
see
like,
that part. I didn't
yeah,
see that. Okay, now it makes sense.
yeah,
Now it makes sense because I was thinking like, why did he win? I'm like, well, he just didn't do anything. I'm like, but like it was weird because they brought back like the old Dr. Thugonomics for Cena, the Eater of Worlds for Bray Wyatt. So it's like
yeah,
they brought back like their old personas and then kept the new ones going. Still, it fit the Fun House. Like, that's what I was
yeah,
called, the Fun House. It kind of fit that theme because it
exactly.
was weird. And then it was kind of weird seeing Cena in that match. I feel like they could have done it with anybody else. I don't know. It was just seeing Cena in it. Like I feel like could have a better match. I mean, if it was the pandemic didn't happen, I feel like it would just obviously would have been a singles match in the
Yeah, it would
ring.
have been a singles match. Yeah,
Um, and that's what I was anticipating. That's what I was expecting. I didn't think it was going to be like more of a cinematic type thing. I knew obviously the Boneyard match was going to take place in the ring, so I knew that was kind of being uh, a cinematic match. But the Funhouse one, I thought it was going to be actually in the ring and like with decorations all over the place.
oh, okay, got you, got you,
That's what
got
I was.
you.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't think it was going to be like a type of cinematic thing. So that was kind of weird to me, but it was still enjoyable for me. They
Yeah,
brought because they did, like I said, every single persona of the Fiend. Kind of like a random question to throw out here. Do you feel like Bray should have like kind of like what Mick Foley did with the three personas, like with
yes,
Bray?
yeah, and I like that he does that. It's kind of like how McFoley did it, kind of like how Matt Hardy's doing it in AEW, that each week he just decides, I'm gonna be this character.
Yeah,
But in Bray's like in his storyline, like, he doesn't choose. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't
yeah,
choose, oh, 1 week I'm gonna be this person. It basically, Bray is like whoever shows up. Whoever shows up, that's who you're gonna get. Because he has the Fiend, he has Wyatt, and then he do the swap match as the Eater of the Worlds.
yeah. He did that one, but then he still popped out as the Fiend at the end. So technically he was both, but he
Yeah,
was. But apparently
yeah.
this week he's
I like that they could switch around. Like,
yeah. And it fits now, especially with no audience. Like, what are people going to say, like in person?
e-
It's not really like a mixed
exactly.
reaction. So it's like it's still working out in a way. Apparently this week on SmackDown he's debuting a new character. Do you think it's gonna be like a person or like an actual puppet like he's doing in the Funhouse?
He's debuting
The
a new
a new
character.
Yeah, that's what he said. I don't know because when he said that I was like I had like a whole bunch of like different people like actual wrestlers who might fit that position in a way because he said it was like I think it was in the beginning of the show or a commercial. I don't know, but I saw it and I was like, why is he? I think it's gonna be a person because like I've been saying this for a while. Like, now I'm not saying this because they're brothers, but I feel like Bo Dallas could 100% fit with that persona. Because
Yep.
like remember,
Yep.
because when Bo Dallas was kind of like in the new Wyatt fam kind of thing. Because when Bo Dallas debuted on I think the main roster, because I don't remember him. I didn't watch NXT back then, but he did the Bo Leave,
Yo,
the Bo Leave.
he was nice in NXT. He
He
was champion.
exactly people like I didn't even know this. He was 22 when he won, and back then
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
he
20.
was.
I didn't know he was that young. And I searched him up. I was like, he's only 30 right now, which is still young.
Yes, and he's
I know
doing nothing. He's doing nothing.
exactly. That's what
They
I'm
got
saying.
him. They got him with the B team, and how long have we haven't seen them in a while?
Curtis Axel got released. That's why.
Yeah, so like
That,
maybe they're trying to find a new in for him. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
the Wyatt family is the perfect way to bring him back.
I
He had
still
his
think he
brother.
should. Yeah, I still think he should have been in the Wyatt family from the jump. I feel like they should have like jumped him in. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
'cause he was still wrestling. Like that whole Bo Leave thing. Like it was cool if you would have did something with it, but they didn't do
yeah,
anything with it. They just had him run around the ring, do the Bo Leave, carry the signs and stuff, but they
yeah.
never like executed anything. So it was like, what is this really doing for
Doing
him?
yeah.
You know what I
Um,
mean?
I mean, not especially not. We've seen like with the B team, even though it was basically a jobber with him and Axel, but I
Yeah,
feel like that was more of a serious role, which can 110% fit in with, I guess, the Eater overworlds and the whatever the fiend with the darker character. I don't know what you call that. The fiend character, but then also with the Firefly Funhouse, you could use the Believe, the enthusiastic Bo Dallas,
exactly.
because he literally has all three personas like Bray, and if you can't
Yes.
fit him in with that, then I don't know what they're planning on doing for him because I don't. There's literally nothing else better for him to do than join the Wyatt family again.
Yeah. I would even throw them into the tag team title mix.
Exactly. Do you like
Like
Alexa Bliss with that? Like Alexa Bliss and how she's doing?
I like how they're like, but they haven't like fully said anything. They're just like hinting at stuff.
Yeah,
Like she was backstage watching at SummerSlam. She was watching them. What right? Was it SummerSlam or Payback?
I think it was both. I think it was both.
Was it both? I remember
Yeah.
they showed her watching the TV, which I hate that spot. Can we just let me just say that real quick? I hate the spot of them showing them watching TV, but they're like the TV. Like I'll use my phone. The TV's here, right? What do
Yeah.
you watch the TV? Like look at it. They're just like always on the
Like
side,
just
like and
getting
like
something.
giving it the side eye. They're never like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
watching it. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
hate that spot. Always hated it. It is what it is. But I like that they're like trying to include her. I think that's dope. I think that Sister Abigail, like that's the character right there. And then you do what you have her doing right now. Like she showed up at SummerSlam and Payback dressed up,
Yeah.
and then she showed up on SmackDown with her regular gear. I think she was she talking to Nikki Cross? That the puppet was in the background.
Yeah.
Keep doing that. Give everybody that's in the Firefly Funhouse personalities. Don't have them just be one character.
Yeah. One thing that speaking of Nikki Cross too, like I just hate the fact that they made her like a happy person, and instead of like keeping her original like character with being crazy. So I feel like that would also fit well with Bray Wyatt, specifically when she was with Sanity. Like when
Yes.
they separated her, it was like they just put her normally with a lot of
Yeah.
like excitement. That was weird to me. So like I feel like they should have used her with the Wyatt family and bring back the crazy Nikki. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think she would have fit in as a perfect Sister Abigail at the
but
like when she was with Sanity. Like
yeah,
that character was just perfect for it. I think
exactly.
right now they're using Alexa Bliss because of the whole backstory with Braun Strowman. So like will they keep using her now that they're kind of not like that storyline's kind of fading away?
Yeah. I mean,
Time
yeah,
out.
yeah.
How did you feel about the Roman Reigns situation at SummerSlam? I know I'm jumping around,
I mean,
but I need to ask.
I thought it was perfect. I kind of expected it coming. Like I knew that he was gonna wait to the last minute. That was a genius move too. I feel like because specifically with new tagline now, like correct everyone and leave, it fits well. I mean, one thing that kind of like doesn't it's bothering me in the back of my mind is the fact that I know he's with Paul Heyman now, but I feel like now with Paul Heyman being with Brock Lesnar, I feel like they're still keeping that Brock Lesnar persona in Roman Reigns. You know what I mean?
They're trying to
'Cause,
make him. They're gonna try and shift that momentum that Brock had onto Roman. I don't know if it'll work. Like
yeah,
people are already loving it. I was like
I love it as a heel. I love it as a heel. I feel like
I like
it's an
it.
amazing heel. Yeah,
I like it. I just don't like that they had Wyatt be like a transitional champion. I don't like that he won
yeah.
it at SummerSlam and then dropped it. I think like
He should
you've
have
done
stayed.
that. Yeah, like you've done so many times that pay-per-views end in no contest. You know what I mean? Like you've done that plenty of times. Right now, this is the time that you could end any show in a no contest because you got nobody to complain about. You know what I mean? Like people always complain when they were in the crowd. They'll be like, "I paid money and you gotta end the pay per view on a no contest." Guess what? There's no one in the crowd, so you could end
Yeah,
the pay per view on a no contest. You could have had Roman come out, beat both of them up. The show end like that, no contest, and then they announce on whatever. I don't know if they did like one of those like the after pay per view, like you know how they do Raw
yeah,
Talk
yeah.
now. Did they do one of those for SummerSlam or no?
I don't think they do that anymore. I think they just stick with Raw talk and talking smack. I think they just do
I
that
would
now.
have did it. Yeah, I would have did it just for that pay per view and be like, "Yo, breaking news! Here's the announcement. Next week at Payback, we're gonna have a triple threat match." You know what I mean? Like, don't
Yeah,
just give the guy a title and then have him lose
drop
it the
it.
next
Yeah,
week. And also, they kind of like saved him. Like, Braun didn't take the pin, but then Braun took the pin at Payback, but he also took it at SummerSlam. That's 2 weeks in a row. Your monster is taking a pin.
but then you have a big dog now, which they're trying to hype up.
Big
Pin the
dog.
big
Big
yeah.
the big dog. Stop
Uh,
it.
do you like the fact that they're using Jey Uso in this next feud? Or
I like it. I like that it's different. It's something we don't see.
yeah,
I don't want it to be a squash match. I want him
yeah,
to. I want it to be believable that he could win this match.
yeah. I mean, what like I feel like what
I
they're
want to
doing
see.
with it.
I want to see forced finishes. I want to see.
What do you mean? Like,
Like I want to see Roman kick out at almost 3. That's how I
like
want. I don't want it just to be a squash match. Roman hits one spear and match over.
oh
I
yeah, yeah,
want it
yeah,
to be believable that that who is it? Jey Uso.
yeah,
I want it to be believable that Jey Uso can beat him. And you got the storyline, their family, they grew up together. He knows everything that Roman knows as a wrestler. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like they can
I
use that to their advantage.
I want them to like end up like however hopefully continue this feud since after until like after Clash of Champions because I don't know how long Jimmy is out for,
He's
but
out for a while, I think.
yeah, for a while
Yeah.
because I want to like end up like eventually having them also partner with Paul Heyman.
I
I
this is how
You don't like that
listen
idea?
listen to this. This is how I would put it. I love that idea of them being with Paul
Okay,
Heyman, but this is how I would do it. You have Roman take on Jay. They have the match because at Clash of Champions is the next pay per view,
yeah,
correct? You have them fight there. Jay almost wins, like I said, force finishes 1-2. Roman kicks out the last second, and then finally beats him. He earns the respect from Roman as a wrestler. Like he already respects him. That's his cousin. He loves him, but he doesn't have that respect as a wrestler yet. He
yeah.
then gets that respect as a wrestler. Next pay per view, what are we in? We're in September,
I think Hell in a
October.
Cell. I think Hell in a
You
Cell is next week.
you get the rematch. You get the rematch because they're like, you know what? You gave him such a good match. We're gonna give you a rematch. You give the rematch. He beats him again, and then Uso goes on like this long losing streak, and Paul Heyman starts to be like, "Come over, like we respect you. We can give you better. We can give you better than what you have now." And that's when we get Jay Uso, the singles competitor. He joins forces with Paul Heyman. You put him in title fights for the IC title. You know what I mean? You give him the IC title for like a little bit. Let's say Jimmy, I don't know how long he's in, like how long he's out. Let's say he's back by like Rumble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back by like January, February. This is where you can get Uso versus Uso at Mania. Jimmy comes back, says, "What are you doing? Why are you with them?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You give them that storyline. We get Uso versus Uso for an IC belt or a US belt at Mania. We get a crazy match from them. Jay wins. Jimmy then goes on a losing streak. It does the same cycle. And that's when they bring him into the family, whatever they're gonna call that little tribe that they have. They bring them in. Jay loses the IC title, and now you got the tag team back. You put them back into the tag division, and now you could call them the Samoan Dynasty, the family, whatever you want to call them. They're gonna be that group, that heel
Us.
group.
Speaking of groups and factions, I don't want to continue going off topic, but what do you feel on Retribution and how they're appearing on Raw every week now?
I don't even think Vince knows what he's doing with Retribution. Like they haven't even announced who, like they haven't even picked, I don't think, who's gonna be in it or whatever. But it's like it was cool at first. It was like, oh, out of nowhere. Now it's
Yeah,
like you wait for it. It's kind of getting stale. Like they haven't put nothing behind it yet. Like I feel like they're taking too long with putting a face behind it.
exactly.
It's weird.
Um, what was I gonna say? I feel like they're definitely doing this like as a tactic of a way to bring people to view every week. You know, kind of like like are they gonna reveal it this week? Let me watch it. You know, kind of like okay, let me watch this week. Then the more they do it, the more people are gonna be like, oh, maybe this week, maybe this week. And
I
I feel like that's
guess
what they're going with.
Yeah, I guess you can look at it that way. It's like it's just tough because it's like how long they've been around now,
Like a month. I would say a month at
like
least.
a month, right?
Yeah,
It's just
announce it already. If you get it,
you should at least have
yeah,
one face behind it. You know what I mean? Or at
yeah.
least have somebody cut a promo.
They did it on Monday,
They
but
did?
not in person. They didn't reveal themselves, but someone cut a promo, on Raw. It was like towards the end of the show where I think it was Nia Jax versus the Riot Squad at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
One of them, I think the main guy cut a promo, but they didn't use the actual voice. They used like one of
No.
those deep, yeah.
Okay,
Then they
so
just cut it.
I didn't peep that. I didn't I'll be honest with you, I missed Raw this week. But I like that they did that. They changed the voice
Yeah,
up. It's given me a lot of. Do you remember Aces and Eights?
yeah. That's what
It's
I was
give,
thinking too. Like
it's
it
giving
gives
me
me that
that
vibe.
vibe.
Yeah,
And what Aces and Eights did that was dope was they did it slowly. They gave you like, but not this slow. Like they did it slowly. Like they attacked for 2 weeks and then somebody cut a promo, and then slowly they started revealing who was in the group. Like they didn't just all at once take off their mask and was like, "Yo, we're aces and eights." It was like slowly, and then they started having people turn on each other when they had Taz turn on everybody when he was a commentator. Bully Ray was like the face of TNA, and then one pay-per-view after a couple months just turned on them and was like, "I was the real boss of aces and eights." Like it was cool how they did that. I'm hoping Retribution isn't just another throwaway faction. I hope they actually
yeah.
do something like Aces and Eights and that actually has an outcome that's pretty dope. You know what I mean?
If you were to choose like five people to who you think is in the Retribution, who would those five people be?
Like from the main roster.
Anybody. It could be from NXT or Raw SmackDown.
I also thought about that, the retribution. I also thought this is a good way to lead up to Survivor Series.
Oh, okay.
But then they're just showing up on Raw. It's not
Yeah. So I
now.
think it's
It's just
called.
now it's just to one brand. Because then when I first saw it, I was thinking about it. And it was actually my little brother who brought it up. He said maybe this is NXT guys coming up, messing everything up, getting like planting the seeds for Survivor Series. I said that's actually a good point. But now that they're exclusive to one brand, it's less likely to be that. I kind of feel it has to do with MVP's group.
Really?
I think it
How,
had the Hurt Business. I feel like it has to do with them. Low key, I feel like it has to do with them. I don't know why.
how would that tie in? How would you say that would tie in? You don't know. You don't know.
I have no idea, but I just feel like right now that like they took over Raw Underground. I don't even know if they're
Yeah.
still in charge of it. But the first week they were like, "This is
Yeah.
our thing," and then you just build up. We're gonna take over. We're gonna overthrow the boss.
Yeah.
You get that storyline, and then that's when you get a big title push for Lashley.
I mean, he does have the U.S. Championship though, so I feel like you don't
No,
like that on him. You don't
this is gonna set it up for him.
set it up. I
This
can
is
see
gonna
that happen.
either I don't know if he'll lose it or he'll just wait. Is he the champion?
Yeah.
Oh, he's
U.S.
not.
champion. Yeah, he is.
He's a
He
U.S. champ. Hold on, I gotta
he
look this up now.
he
Hold
he
on.
beat Apollo Crews at SummerSlam for it.
Oh my goodness, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Okay, yeah. So you have him do that for a little bit. I even forgot about that match. Uh, and then even like I don't know if he should lose it or just give it to like Shelton or give it to MVP or Cedric Alexander, who's with them now. He just gives the title away and he's like, all right, I'm finna head out. I'm going to this world title picture.
Yeah.
And then
Kind
you
of like
have that big, we are taking over. You know what I mean? And then
yeah.
you even give all of them the belts, I feel. I say
That's
you
what I was
give
thinking
all of
too.
them the belt.
That's
You
what I was
do
thinking
kind of
too.
like who had all the belts recently? Undisputed Era
Yeah.
in NXT. They had all the belts recently. But you make it different. You add a woman and you get that belt too.
Who would you
Which I
add though? The woman.
feel right now, someone that lost the title, actually lost 2 titles, got turned on.
Sasha.
Yeah.
But she's on SmackDown. You think she's gonna come to Raw to the draft?
Yeah. There's supposed to be a switch up soon.
Okay.
You put her in that group. Also, nobody really cares about that right now. You know what I mean? Nobody's really like,
Yeah.
oh, she's not supposed to be there. Just put her. Just put
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Wait, but is it? No, isn't she Raw?
She's on
Or she's
SmackDown.
SmackDown?
Yeah,
I
she's
thought
SmackDown.
Bailey was on SmackDown.
No, they both are because they were on both shows because they had the tag team championships, so they're technically on both shows. So
Put Sasha on Raw and put her in the Hurt Business. Have her win the title, and then
lose it the next time she defends it. Lose it the next time she defends it.
that's the
You don't know.
trend, isn't it? That's the
It's a trend, yeah. She
right?
never retained a title. She can't retain a title.
Facts. But I'm telling you, if you give them all the belts, it's gonna show. And then they also in charge of Raw Underground, and they're just running Raw. You can't really tell them anything. You know what I mean? Like that's a
Yeah.
cool concept. And then you even bring Vince into it, and you
They
have it be like, him come out and be like, Bobby, you have to defend your belt tonight on Raw. And MVP's just like, nah, he's not doing that. Can't make him do it. Sorry. He'll fight tonight, but he's not gonna defend the belt. Sorry. And also you can't tell them no because they have all your titles. And then you even if Vince was smart, he would have incorporated this earlier. You talk about other promotions.
What do you mean? Like
You don't have to name them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you could like how I was saying that Vince was like, "Oh, you have to defend the belt." MVP could come out and say he's not defending the belt. 1, 2, you can't force us. 3, if you try to force us, I'll go to another promotion with all your belts.
That could be dope. I could do that.
And you just have that. You have that. He always threatens to leave with the titles. And then that's when we get one pay-per-view that they just get swept.
Didn't I mean there was a recent, I think Kurt Angle mentioned TN Impact last year. Didn't he mention it to Kevin Owens? He was like, "Oh, you can just go to TNA. They're hiring." Something like that. They could be like that. Like we could just go to. I mean, they don't have to say Impact. I feel like this because it's been Impact for a while.
They have connections
all
with Impact.
yeah.
I know that for a fact. They use their film on the network and stuff. They gotta have a deal with them.
I mean, yeah, because I don't think they'll use it now because mainly the fact that a lot of the really superstars went there. So I don't think they'd be like, "Oh, Impact Wrestling."
You know what made me? Now we're gonna switch topics, but also I feel like MVP. Like I think that would be a cool storyline. Like just to end it, I think that would be a cool storyline, and then have them get swept by baby faces at one pay-per-view, and that's how they end their reign of terror. They'll call it the reign of terror. But we'll go back to that Impact. I feel WWE got a connection. How did most of the guys that you release end up there?
I mean, aren't they the only 2 other big companies that are still on right now, or still?
There's one bigger company that everyone should have tried to get signed to. You know what I mean?
Where?
AEW.
That's what I said. No, 2 other
right
companies.
Now, Oh yeah. But I think that's like the top. Why would Cody Rhodes is tight with everybody there?
Yeah, because he knows everybody
I think it was only Zack Ryder from all the people that were released.
Yeah.
So everybody Impact though. Now Eric Young is a champion. The Good Brothers are there. Dreamer's there.
Hawkins.
Brian Myers is there. Yeah. Everybody went there. It's weird to me. And I feel like they're going to use that as like, okay, we released you, but we still want to like build you up so we can bring you back.
I feel like they've been doing that for a lot of people.
Eric Young right now is getting the Drew McIntyre outline. You remember when Drew McIntyre got released? He went to the Indies. Drew Galloway. He was killing shit. He was winning titles everywhere. He was at Evolve. And Evolve is WWE's company. Not anymore because they disbanded, but they were like the minor league before you even get into NXT.
WWE still has Evolve.
No,
they bought it from them.
Yeah, but they folded Evolve. Like they're not doing those shows anymore. Well, for now, they'll bring it back soon. Yeah. But like right now that guys can't go to indie shows and build up their name, they're gonna go to Impact. They'll build up their name. They gave Eric Young the belt. He hasn't been there for a month. And he's already champion.
I mean, how? I was thinking too, like Heath Slater, also an Impact, by the way.
Yes.
Also an Impact. He since April, I feel like he's gotten physically in shape since, and he looks a lot better than he was in WWE.
Yep.
And I feel like they're bringing him back. There's no way they're letting him go forever. They're definitely bringing him back at some point. So
after all this COVID stuff calms down, after WWE gets their money back up, all those guys are gonna be back in WWE.
That's what I said. I don't think this is permanent. I think this is just in the meantime until it comes back.
Yeah, and I think Eric Young will get the Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
He'll get that treatment. I think they'll put him back in NXT for like 3 months. Let him win the title. Let him build that up. Let him lose it. and then he'll come back to the main roster.
I feel like that's what they're gonna do with everybody. Like specifically a lot of the guys and females that they released. I don't think a lot of them would go back to the main roster, even though they need main roster people right now because a lot of them there's like very limited people now because of the releases.
Yeah.
But I feel like NXT is the best way to go and call people up in the meantime.
I just find it weird that everybody went to Impact.
Yeah, really. Like there's two. I feel like they weren't gonna. I feel like because Impact is kind of like in the need of superstars too. I feel like AEW has a lot of the guys anyways, but then before the pandemic, all that happened, I feel like they were in need of signing big guys.
Yeah.
And big names. Because AEW took most of them already.
Yeah.
They literally took most of them.
What made me think of this whole conspiracy that WWE is in cahoots with Impact is when the Good Brothers showed on Impact.
A lot of them did. What do you mean?
But like they showed up on Impact.
Yeah.
They're boys with Cody Rhodes. They're boys with the Young Bucks. They were in Bullet Club. They're cool with Kenny Omega. Why didn't they sign to AEW? It just lines up for them to just go there. Like that's what I thought was gonna happen. I saw they'll definitely go to AEW and make a deal with them that they could wrestle in Japan also when stuff opens up. How they end up in Impact?
That is true because I feel like a lot of Impact guys have gone to WWE straight from Impact. Too. I didn't think about it that way since you brought it up just now.
I think WWE is using them like as a step up before NXT. Okay. Like they'll be like maybe like from Evolve, you'll go to Impact. From Impact, you'll go to NXT, and then we'll see how you do there. Maybe you'll come up to the main roster.
Because they didn't do that with a lot of guys either. Because I think AJ Styles debuted straight on the main roster. I mean, he's AJ Styles, but like in the Good Brothers, they even debuted them on the main roster. They didn't even put NXT.
They did them so dirty.
Yeah, that was weird. NXT should have been the first.
Yeah, like even their debut, like they could have went to NXT, but I think even the main roster was fine for them. It was just the way they didn't have anything for them. They just signed them just to sign them. But they had them debut in like the middle of the country, like in front of a crowd that did not care about them. A week after Mania, a week after the Raw after Mania. You could have just had them come out the Raw after Mania.
Exactly.
And the place would have went insane. And I think that's what hurt them because Vince saw like the reaction they got and was like, maybe this wasn't a good pickup.
They should have sent them down to NXT. I mean, they still had time to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
That would have been better.
Yeah, I still think the matches they would have had on NXT would have been incredible.
Exactly.
Because they would have still had. Because I think when they debuted, I think Revival was still down there. I'm not positive, but I think Revival was still down there. I want to say American Alpha was still there. And talk about American Alpha, how dirty they did them.
Exactly. Jason Jordan doesn't even wrestle anymore.
Oh my goodness.
He just works backstage. He just works back.
American Alpha. Yo, this podcast that we're doing is just gonna have me rant every week about stuff that WWE has messed up. American Alpha. Yo.
The Joel Rancho. The Joel Rancho might as well change the name already.
But yeah, man. You know what else is weird? I was watching TNA last night. They're very awkward with no crowd.
Yeah, a lot of them are like that.
Like WWE started out awkward and now like they're getting back into the group, but it's still awkward. TNA just feels like very awkward. Like they did a spot with Eric Young and I forgot her name. Eddie Edwards' wife. And he put her like he was gonna do a move on her, and Tommy Dreamer came out, him with the kendo stick. He ran out, and then they were just in the ring standing there. Eric Young was outside screaming. I was like, this is like very awkward right now.
AEW is bringing back fans now. They're bringing back fans.
So how do you feel about AEW?
Okay, so this is what I think. Obviously, it's an amazing promotion. I love everything they do. But the one
Uh-oh.
thing that the one, the one thing that confuses me about AEW right now is the fact that majority of their storylines are kind of confusing to me. I don't know if it applies to anybody else
What do you mean?
because, like, okay, so hypothetically, let's say they put John Moxley. Like right now, he's going to start a feud with Lance Archer. Let's say him versus Lance Archer. They're feuding. Eventually, I feel like they're going to bring in MJF back in the picture. He's going to still feud with Moxley while Moxley's still feuding with Lance Archer. Then Lance Archer's going to be feuding with somebody else, even though he's going to feud with Moxley. You know what I mean? They have like multiple feuds at once.
Yeah.
They always change it around every week. So it's like, who are they feuding with? I don't get it. And it confuses me. So like sometimes when I follow it, I have to like step back and like watch NXT for a while because I don't know what the hell's going on in AEW with the storylines. I get confused. So it's like, okay, let me just step away. And then hopefully the next storyline I'll get back into AEW.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't get confused because that's what they do a lot. They always have multiple like storylines with like two storylines in one, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what confuses me.
I kind of mess with that because it's like because I think they kind of see like what works best and they'll go with that. Like with the whole tag team thing, they had the Bucks, FTR, Kenny,
Omega,
yeah, and Paige, and then they also had like
best friends.
Best friends, yeah. So they were trying to see like, all right, who matches up best? Like they had them each fight each other, and they were all like in a storyline together. But then best friends and Kenny and Paige had their own feud. Bucks and FTR have their own feud, but they're like not at the peak feud yet. I think now that they won the titles, they'll start feuding.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. There's a lot going on.
And
Something that's also this thing with AEW, which a lot of people complain about. I find it like sometimes annoying, but also it's like WWE got 2 shows, so they don't have to do things like this. They also they do their show, they do their YouTube show, like the AEW Dark, cool. But then they also have Being the Elite. Being the Elite also continues storylines. So it's kind of like if you're not following Being the Elite, you might get lost here and there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I get lost here and there, like you said, I get lost too sometimes. But then like I'll think about be like, it's probably gotta be doing something with Being the Elite. Has to do something with them.
I never thought of it that way because I never watched that. So I'm assuming that's why I'm lost.
Yeah, they build storylines on there, which is a cool concept because you're getting a YouTube fan base that could also watch the show, but then the people who are watching strictly the show might get left behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that. Because like going back to that feud you're talking about the tag teams, because like he had, like you said, FTR with Omega and Paige, then FTR with the Young Bucks, then he also had the best friends in there with those 3 tag teams, and then he also had best friends with Santana or Cheese, because they also had a match at All Out. So I'm like, where is this going? Who is gonna be on top of what?
It's just a lot going on.
Yeah,
it's a lot going on.
They should have 2 shows.
Yeah,
they should have 2 shows.
Well, they have that YouTube show on Tuesdays, but it's just like do I really want to open up YouTube? I watch it here and there. I'm not gonna tell you I watch every week. I watch it here and there. Like if I see a match, I'll be like, oh wow, this looks pretty dope. I'll watch it. But
majority of it's like jobbers, so it's like okay, that person's obviously gonna win, so I don't need to watch it. But it's
But another thing, like NXT, they got to move to another night.
They did Tuesdays the last 2 weeks. I think they should stay with that.
But it's because of the playoffs is going on.
Yeah.
The hockey playoffs. But I think they should keep it with Tuesdays.
That's what I should think too.
Everybody could exist in, like, there's multiple companies that could exist in the world. You don't have to compete with everyone.
Exactly.
Like that's why they did Wednesday nights, because they said, okay, it's the same night as NXT, but NXT's on demand. So like You could always go back and watch NXT, or you could always come back and watch us. Now, when WWE put them both on the same night, it was just too much.
Yeah.
And I caught myself watching more AEW than NXT, and I consider myself an NXT head.
Yeah, me
But
too.
now, like, I still watch NXT, but I'll watch it on demand. I'll watch it the day after. I'm not gonna watch it live unless you're giving me a fatal 4-way 60-minute Iron Man match, and then have
Have
no
no winner.
winner.
Yeah, have no winner.
And then that's stuff that's like, should I even tune in next week?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? But like, I don't know. I think they should change it to Tuesday nights. I still don't like that they're on TV. I still don't like that. I feel like it's too much for NXT.
Yeah.
We talked about this before with NXT being on the WWE Network, being 1 hour. You don't see everyone every week. With NXT, the way that it's been during the pandemic, I got tired of Keith Lee. I hate to say it. I got tired of him. He was on every episode. I was tired of him. When he won the belt, I was like, I can care less, to be honest. And I hate to say that because Keith Lee is dope. Yeah, like, I got tired of him. Like, not saying he's not entertaining and stuff, but like, I don't need to see him every week. I feel like saying just another. Okay, what are we gonna watch this week? Oh, this week is they will cut the promo and be like, okay, this week is gonna be based on the women, or this week is gonna be based on the world title or the North American title, or it's just gonna be based on this feud. There was many episodes where it was just Gargano versus Ciampa with no belt attached.
Yeah.
But
especially with storylines too, he kind of build it up and they continue it for a while, and you don't know when it's going to end.
Exactly.
So they just feuded. You can use other people and put them in. They
and
already
also,
had the shot.
Yeah, and feuds would last so long because of that. You didn't see them every week, so it wasn't like everybody had to get the upper hand each week. Now it's just another Raw SmackDown. I feel personally, like, I still love NXT. But that's just how I feel. I feel it was just it had that specialness to it when it was 1 hour. You get hype when you see Adam Cole. Oh, this week is about the title? Lit. This week is about Undisputed Era? Dope. Now it's like, it's 8 o'clock. Adam Cole is in a big kind of feud with McAfee. He'll probably come on around like 9:15. So I'll watch it then. Now you could time it out. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Before you had to watch the whole episode to see what was gonna happen. Maybe he'll pop up, maybe he won't. Now it's like, all right, you got 2 hours. He's definitely coming out. Why? Because he is NXT.
Who do you think? I don't want to go too much to the show, but who do you think is like the current face of NXT? Because you have now Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Gargano,
Adam Cole. Adam Cole and Undisputed Era.
Even without the title?
Without the title. That's why they didn't give it to him. He don't need it. He's at that level that he does not need the NXT title.
I'm glad that Finn won it though, because I feel like that's like a really good, because
that was the right choice.
Even like when he got back to NXT, like they did nothing with him. Like, what did they do? I mean, the pandemic really messed it up, because I think he was feuding with Walter before this, and then
I think so,
for the NXT UK Championship, which would have been dope too. But again,
they're coming back soon, right?
Next week, next Thursday.
Week. Okay.
Yeah, but so I feel like when the pandemic hit, they canceled that because the UK has like they were quarantined for a while. They just recently got out. And so then when the pandemic hit, that kind of ruined their feud and like set up. Like, they really had nothing. Like feuding with Damian Priest, Thatcher, like who? That's it. Like really, couldn't have better with that. So I feel like this is the right move. I feel like that was the right move for him to give him the title and have a title, the first title since he came back.
The only thing I didn't like about the Fatal 4-Way, like it was I was fine with the tie. I just feel it was the wrong person.
Who do you think it should have been?
think it should have been Balor versus Tommaso Ciampa.
Could have seen that. That would have been dope.
Because what happened, like, also I'm an asshole fan. So like when it was him and Cole, I said, first of all, Cole just lost it. There's no way they're giving him the title back. You know what I mean? No way they're giving him the title back. It was a cool match. They had a great match. But it would have had more excitement if it was Balor versus Ciampa, because Ciampa just came back, Balor just came back. It could be either one of them winning the title.
Exactly.
It was like, so it would have brought more excitement to the match, because then it was must see.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I need to see this. Last night I felt like I'm gonna watch it. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna watch it, but I don't need to see it. I already think Balor's gonna win, and if he doesn't, that's the wrong choice. But you can't be mad at Adam Cole either way. But they did put on an amazing match.
Yeah, I like that. I was surprised that it was in the beginning of the show, too. I thought it was going to be at the main event. I was like, wait, why is it kicking out the show? It would have been better if it was the main event, maybe, because that would have ended up the night well. Not going to lie, the steel cage was still pretty dope, but still the NXT Championship should have main evented that one. Specifically, it was Super Tuesday. Still enjoyable. Super Tuesday. So, yeah. I guess we could finish the episode off right here.
That's a
what we're gonna do from now on is we're gonna ask a question every week at the end of the episode and answer it.
Right.
Yeah. and at the ending of the next episode, we're gonna answer that question and continue on every week. Do you have a question that you want to ask for next week, Joel? Or do you know one?
I'll think of I'm thinking of a TNA one, because we were on Eric Young so much.
Yeah.
And right now, his feud with Eddie Edwards is like, never been a big fan of his. If you can book an incredible storyline with Eric Young and someone else that's signed to TNA, that's not Eddie Edwards or Moose, because of course that's the big guy, that would have an incredible like title storyline, that someone that's believable, that you can build up, like somebody that just got signed over. It could be a Heath Slater, Hawkins, you know what I mean? Like somebody that you can help build up with this storyline. Who would you pick? Okay. And then we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah. All right. Yes, so this was the first episode of the Ring Fanatics Podcast. Once again, I'm Nick Arias, Joel Otero, and we will see you guys next week.
Catch you.